Yo, BQuanchi here, at it again doing another tier list video, this time focusing on Danganronpa. So this is going to mostly focus on the main games. I might make references to the anime as well. Also, spoiler alert, I am going to talk a little bit what happens in the game. I'll try not to get too spoiler heavy, but I just want to give that little disclaimer. I'm going to focus on the first three games. I'm going to put a link for this exact tier list I use in the description of this video. It did include characters from the spin-off game The Ultra Despair Girls. I haven't played that myself, so I'm not going to rank those characters on this video. And I'm thinking of doing the Danganronpa stuff. I'm recording this ahead of time, so who knows, but I mean to get to, I do own Ultra Despair Girl. I've been thinking about streaming it. Also, want to do some more Danganronpa videos, like my top and worst characters. This is kind of like it. I don't know how things would come out, but yeah, I just want to go into ranking at least the main characters in the first three games. So let's get at it. So the first one we got Makoto. Definitely gonna put him on S rank. I think it's gonna be a trend in this video that the protagonist is gonna be S tier. It's kind of a self-insert. I do enjoy them a lot, so I do like Makoto, so put him in S rank. Hina, she's cute, but she's kind of a little generic. I don't know. I'm debating B and C. I'll put her in B. She's cute, she's fun, but I don't know, not the most interesting character in the Danganronpa games. Bakya, another S tier. I like him. I know in the first game he can be a bit of an asshole and all that. He has some fun moments in the anime as well, and I feel like he has this good character arc, like versus being like independent, like I gotta look out for myself versus depending on others. So I do really like him a lot. He's one of my favorites. Next, Mondo. Him, I'm not a big fan of the pompadour. I know that's a big thing in Japan, like with anime and stuff like that. And he is a spoiler. He does become a blackened, and I don't know, because he feels very guilty for the death of his brother, like even claiming that he killed his brother, but it was like an accident. So I don't know. I don't know, a little bit generic biker. I don't like the hairstyle, but I'm gonna put him as a C. Leon. He has kind of a fun design. He is, again, spoilers, the first one to become a black end to murder another student. I'm sure people who click in the video know what Danganronpa is, but it's like a killing game with students and all that. Like, I don't know, there's other videos that can explain it better, but I think if you click in the video, you know what Danganronpa is. I don't need to like explain the whole like story and themes and how it plays out. But Leon, I don't know, like, it's funny, like in the class trial about him, they mentioned, oh, you didn't have to kill them. You went out of your way to do that. So he had a chance to like back up, but then he kind of like went for it. Also interesting with his trivia, I believe like in like free time events or whatever, you find out that he kind of like skip practice because he's like I think people click a video know the deal with Danganronpa, but all the students have ultimate talents, and his is ultimate baseball star. And there's like things about him like trying to get out of practice and stuff like that too that he mentioned. So it's kind of like weird when you get these characters that don't really embrace their talents, almost want to stray away from them. But I'm gonna give him a C. Mostly because I like other students from the game better. Maybe because how he views his talent, and that he kind of became a black when he didn't need to, although that's kind of like the goal. The thing is like, hey, you want to kill a student and get away with it kind of thing. Now we have Sayaka. And I know she's really cute. She's almost like the love interest for Makoto, the protagonist of the first game. But I'm going to give her an F. And I got to justify that as well, because you find out in the first trial, she's the first victim, so she's the first student to get killed. But you find out that she was planning to kill Leon. And what she was also planning to do is frame it on Makoto. And all that. So that's kind of like a bitch move to do. But I remember like at the end of the trial, they're like saying, oh, she wrote Leon's name on the wall to save you. She really cared about you, Makoto. But it's like, no, that bitch was going to set you up. Like, the only reason she probably did it so that Leon can get his comeuppance and all that. So she only did that so he can't get away with killing her. But she was like going to kill somebody and try to blame it on Makoto over here and get away with it. So I know she's like the idol, like cute senior character, but like you have those motives, bitch. Don't like hide from it and all that. So that's my deal. I'm sure people like this character a lot more than I do, and again, I can appreciate a lot of things about it. But like, look at that bitch. She tried to frame me for murder and all that. So yeah, she deserves an F in my book. Then we have Kyoko. I'm also going to put her in S. She is like one of the main forces in the first game, the first story. She does have some fun moments in the anime as well. Also, I want to make references to the anime Danganronpa 3 End of Hope's Peak, because some of the characters reappear in that, and she had some good moments in that. I haven't dug into it because I believe there's like mangas or novels that kind of go into her background. I think she's a very interesting character. I don't know that. I like that there's like an Easter egg, like alternate ending with a trial. I think it's trial 5 that she can get punished. So that's kind of like a fun little Easter egg as well. But I really like her. I enjoy her. I do have to admit, one thing I hate about her is like throughout the first game, like she gets really mad at Makoto because he was kind of keeping something from her because he wasn't sure about it. But then she has all her secrets and she's like snooping around and all that. So it's like, bitch, don't be the the kettle calling the pot black, whatever that saying is. So I feel like that's a little irritating with her, but I do still consider her S rank. Next we have Chihiro. Another favorite, I'm going to put her at S. And one of the things I like, it's very interesting as well, just because the game's over 10 years old and originated from Japan, is that Chihiro is, I think people would argue, as a transgender character, because he was biologically a boy, but felt like they were kind of weak and all that, decided to dress themselves or present themselves as a girl. I kind of want to do a video talking more about them, so I want to get more in depth, but it's kind of interesting to see, like, hey, did they become transgender as an identity issue, or because they were like toxic masculinity or bullying and all that. Not to get into that whole like, hey, environment affects this when it comes to transgender, but I think it's really neat to have that representation. Also, they a programmer, that's ultimate talent, and they create the alter ego, which plays in for the games, not just in Danganronpa, but in future titles as well. So again, I could get on a whole tangent talking about Chihiro, but again, we like the character, we like the representation, and I feel like you can interpret it in so many different ways, like with a gender identity. So, and I think again, for such an older game, Danganronpa old, I like almost saw myself in the face because 10 years old, but it's not too old. But definitely S tier for Chihiro. Sakura, I really appreciate her. One thing I really like is that a lot of the female characters kind of have the same kind of type, like it's cute high school girl and all that, so a lot of them kind of almost run together at times. So I really like that she's kind of like the buff character. Really like has that sense of pride, all that. I don't want to get too much into each character, but I'm going to say she's an A rank because I really appreciate her design being a lot different than other females. Then we got Celeste. That's a fun one. I kind of like her like gambling kind of background and talent, all that. Kind of the goth vibe too. I would have to say the trial that involved her is one of the worst trials in Danganronpa. I'm almost thinking about doing a video about like the worst trials, but I really enjoy the character, so I'm gonna put her in A. Then we have Taka. Sorry, there's Taka and Toko, but Taka. He's very fun. I really like him. I kind of like his friendship with Mondo, even though I don't like Mondo as much. I really like his character arc as well. Like he has that kind of like seeing his best friend get punished and having this awakening and all that. And kind of be strict rules. I think he's very dimensional. Because I know some characters can be one or two no. I really enjoy him. I feel like he was a little gullible and stupid, especially when he kind of had this awakened moment. That caused, his fate to end. I'm tempted. I'm going to give him a B. I feel like he deserves better, but he gets a B. So we've got Toko, and they've also on this tier list put Genocide Jack, or Jill, however you want to call them. Let's do Toko first. Kind of a fun character, but I feel like I don't know, she can be a bit bitchy, she can be a little one note, and she really simps hard for Byakuya. Um, I do think she's important. I haven't played much. I know she appears in Ultra Despair Girl with her alter ego, but I'm gonna say she's a C genocide. I want to say B. I like her alter ego a little bit more, but not to rank it higher. Next, Ifumi. F. Definitely F. Some of the characters I don't like throughout the games is one that like really weirdly out of place in terms of the design, like his almost like hamster-like face and overly huge body and all that. I feel like his personality is annoying too. Like he has like, oh, I know what's going on. I'm a smart guy, but then he's like a buffoon as well. So it's like a mix between a nerd and a dumbass. So not my favorite. So definitely F. We got Hero. Also, I forgot to mention. I'm just gonna go for the names I'm kind of more comfortable with. I'm gonna probably mispronounce stuff as well, but I know like the game versus the anime versus how other people call these characters versus first name, last name, partial of their first name, all that. I like Hero. He is fun. And there's some fun moments in anime as well. I don't know, I'm gonna give him a B. I don't like him enough as an A. I do like the character, but he's a B for me. So we got Junko. On some tier list, I think they made her sister as well, Makuro, but they made Makuro as disguised as Junko, so I'm gonna assume that for this tier list. So Junko, I'm gonna say S. Driving force, a big part of the games and anime and all that, so definitely S tier. Especially like she has like almost like multiple personalities as well as really fun characters and what becomes of her, how people idolize her in terms of like what happens in the events of the game. So definitely S tier. For her sister, Makuro, I'm gonna give her C. I feel like especially in anime you can tell like Danganronpa 3, that's like the part of it's like the prequel to the first game. I feel like she's very like submissive to her twin sister. The twin sisters, by the way. I really wish I would have got her actual pictures because I assume that's her. But yeah, because she's like a soldier and really like tough badass, but then she's like almost like a little bitch slave to her sister Junko. So she doesn't have much of a backbone, but she's an interesting character. But I'm gonna put her as a C. Monokuma, the mascot, you can say for Danganronpa, but definitely S. I like the character design. Funny quick story, I learned of Danganronpa based on an Arby's social media post. Like they had Monokuma's face on, like when they did a lot of cool things like cut out from like the fries box or whatever food box is. But I learned from Danganronpa because of Arby's, and because I really like the design of Monokuma because of his half black, half white, the evil's face and the kind of normal face. So I can go on and on, but yeah, Monokuma, definitely favorite character just because of the design overall. But you know, he's the drive antagonist of the game, so definitely love him. Moving on to the next game, we got Akane. She's fun, but like because she has different sides of her. Like she's like really tough, and she's like a goofy character who likes to eat a lot, and gets really concerned because one of her fellow classmates and friends, Nekomaru, got hurt and all that. So I'm debating B. No, I'm gonna put her in A. I feel like we need more students in the A class, so I think I'd say I like her enough to put her in A. Hajime, protagonist, S. Not much to say. I think it's kind of hard to like not rank them high because they're almost like a self-insert. I think he's a very interesting character for the game because the game he found out that he doesn't know what his talent is, and like in Makoto the first game, he's like the ultimate lucky student because it was a little drawing to be in the game. Hajime, in fun moments in the anime as well, so definitely S rank. Chaki, mispronouncing that probably, but Gamer Girl. I would like it. She's really fun. I'm gonna say A. I don't think I like her enough to put an S tier. Also, fun moments in anime. She goes with like almost like a sidekick or partner, and really one of the crucial characters in the second game. So I really like her a lot. So she definitely deserves an A. And then we got Mikan. I'm putting her in an F. I dislike her there's a lot of different reasons. I know some people like consider her like the fanfare character because she gets in awkward positions because she's really clumsy. But I don't know, it's really weird because she's like overly bullied, and I don't really see why. Maybe because her lack of confidence, but you know, she looks just as pretty as the other girls in the games and all that. So it's kind of weird to see, that she's heavily bullied and she has like this complex about it. Also, one of the worst punishments, so she does become a Blackened, so one of the worst punishments ever in Danganronpa. Kind of neat trivia that because of bullying, like bullies cut her hair, so that's why her hair is all like uneven and kind of crazy. I think I really wish they would have changed her character design, like if they made her maybe like heavy, like a plus size or something. So maybe she has weight concerns and body image issues as well. But she looks just as pretty as the other girls. So I think if they maybe changed her design, justified her getting bullied, just besides her confidence issues, that would be a more interesting character. But I'll consider her F rank. Ibuki, I really like this character design. She's a musician. She's really fun. She gets a little annoying with the quirk about talking to herself in the third person. A little gullible at times. I'm just going to put it as a B. Next we got Sonia Nevermind. I like the last name because it's reference to Nirvana. On that, she is a fun, almost crucial character to the second game. I'm not sure. A B feels right. I really enjoy the character, but she doesn't stand out enough, or not really much complaints about her. So I'm going to say a solid B for Sonia. Nagito, definitely S class. One of my favorites. Like in some of the games, like in later games, they have like a shit stir. Like Backyard was kind of like the shit stir in the first game. He's definitely Nagito, the shit stir in the second game. He definitely has some fun moments in anime, especially the Danganronpa 3 with the prequel events before the first game. Ultimate Lucky Student. There's a lot of fun to his lore. I kind of want to talk about him a lot more if I do end up doing more Danganronpa videos. If it happens come out already, I don't know what I'm going to do with these videos on the channel, but definitely my favorite. I know he can be a little crazy. I was like, some student gets really annoyed at him. Well, for good reason, because he kind of almost wanted to sabotage the students as well. But sometimes he makes some really good points in trials and they kind of dismiss it. Like, but I really enjoy the character. Definitely one of my favorites of all time for the series. Definitely S tier. Tier 2, F rank. Again, I feel like when it get really weird with the design choices, like with how his eyes is, he's kind of like short. Also, he has the like, he's a perverted character, and I think it gets a little one note as well. So again, it gets an annoying, perverted, whatever. You know, Japanese game got a Japanese game, anime got an anime, so he gets on my nerves, especially with the design. He does have an interesting style. I do like how his talent is showcased in the events of the game, but definitely F tier. So I'm going to avoid spoilers, but this is what we're going to call Fat Byaka. You see him in the second game, you're like, hey, what's Byaka doing here? Why does he look so different? Definitely interesting, and I'm just going to put him as a solid B. But definitely some fun story behind this character. Next, Fuyuhiko, S tier. I really like him. I know he can get kind of a loudmouth, like overly cursy character. But I feel like he has a character development, like he said, like I can't like depend on anyone to get close to anyone because we're in a killing game. But then he kind of becomes more not really dependent, but I think he relies and is more trusting throughout the events of the game. So I would like his character arc, and I feel like it's funny, he's kind of a short character too, but he definitely feels like a badass. So I do really enjoy him. And I feel like some characters don't really have much of an arc or story throughout the game, but I think with this character, definitely yes. So definitely one of my favorites as well, my favorites from the game. Nekomaru, he's a fun character. Kind of yells a lot, so you can get a little one-notey with that. Definitely has a good heart. Some fun things happen. I'm going to avoid some spoilers with the game, but some cool stuff happens with him as well. I'm going to give him a B. I feel like I need to drop more in the A category, but I'm being honest with that, so... Next we got Kazuichi, I'm going to also say S tier. Really enjoyed the character. I like his design. I know he can sim very hard for Sonya. That's kind of like one of the annoying parts about the character, but I really think he's cool. He kind of like pals around with the protagonist Hajime a lot throughout the game. I like some of his background, that he dyed his hair, he sharpened his teeth, and changed his appearance. And I also like that he actually uses his talent throughout the game since he's a mechanic. Like he fixes an elevator, invents a device, helps with like the camera setup for something. So I get more in depth, but I feel like one of the few characters you actually see the talent in work and benefit, the story of the game. Next we have Peku. I really like the character, but maybe not enough. So again, the B is getting a little crowded, but I'm gonna give her B. I kind of like the relationship with Fuyuhiko. I think what kind of drags her down with not making her A is that her reasoning behind being a Blacken and the trial, saying that it's actually Fuyuhiko's the Blacken because she's a tool to him and all that. So I think that's one of my annoying frustrations with one of the trials in the game. So I like the character. She's got a cool badass swords woman, but I'll put her in B. Next, in my hero, I'm gonna say F. I just think she's kind of boring. I know she's like the cute girl, like you wonder if she's gonna be love interest and all that, but I don't know. I just find her very forgettable. I also think she has one of the worst talents in Danganronpa. She's the ultimate photographer, which is like, oh great, you can take a good selfie or you can take a good portrait or whatever. So I think maybe that's why she is so forgettable to me, has one of the worst talents and all that. So that's why she falls in F. We have Hiyoko. I'm going to put her in F as well. I don't like some of these like really bratty or like childlike characters in the game. This is the first time you actually see one because a lot of the girls, besides like a few like Zakura, have pretty much the same design in terms of like body type, but now you have a little girl. I think one thing that I hate about her is that she's really overly mean, almost kind of like bullying, and so like how she treats Makan, and how she like badmouth other characters in the games and trials and stuff like that. So I feel like she's like mean just for the sake of being mean, and that kind of makes me want to rank her really low. So I don't like the character. Gundam. Really enjoyed him. I think he's a very fun character. I like how he's like in his own world in a sense, with like being a demon and his dark devas and all that. Really good voice actor as well. Has some fun moments in anime as well as the game. But I'm gonna say he's more of an A. I don't know. I just don't feel like he's enough for me to be S tier. But really great character. Really love him and all that. Then we have Manomi, or Usami, depending on what you want. This is her Manomi form that when Akuma transforms her to. She's okay. I think she plays off on Akuma just fine. I don't know. I'm going to give her a C. I feel like for an additional like character, not really like an antagonist, but a protagonist. It's kind of hard to classify her, but I think she's a little very lacking. All that, but now we got up to the second game, and now I'll do the third one. Now we have Kaede. I'm going to avoid spoilers, but S rank for me definitely. Just because it's one of the biggest twists or big moments in the game. I think it's very memorable and crazy, and since she's a big contribution to that, I'm definitely putting her S rank. So not going to say much about her besides that, but yeah, probably one of my top moments in Danganronpa, playing the Danganronpa game. Then we have Himiko. F for her. Kind of the same thing with Hiyoko. Is like you get these really young, like I think they're all supposed to be the same age, high school students, but then we see these really young characters that like act like little children or bratty and all that. So she's kind of a little child. I think one thing that kind of annoys me is that she's a magician, but it's not like real magic. But then she like says it's real magic, and like I don't know, it gets a little annoying. I kind of wish she would like know that it's fake, but then she like she talked to herself like, okay, this is fake, but I'm gonna pretend. So that's the thing I don't like about a character. I think it's a sweet character, but F for me. Got Suichi. Definitely S rank. Again, I don't want to get too heavily in spoilers for the third game, but he's definitely a pivotal character. I like his character development as well. Like, in this image, he's not wearing his hat, and that's like, I think most of the first chapter. I'm not sure when he takes it off, but he kind of has like that development, like, because his character, his talent is detective, and then he felt like really bad, guilty, like sending people to jail or something like that. Like one criminal just looked at him something like that, like with so much anger and hate, and he didn't like that. And then he actually come to the fact like, hey, his deductive skills is gonna cause his friends to be punished, although they are the ones that are doing the killing. So kind of like standing for justice, even if it's going against people you care about. So very interesting character, but definitely S rank. Angie, I hate Angie. F for sure. I find it very annoying. She's very like religious, like from an island, and like Atua is like name of the god. And I think they put her religious views way heavily in front of the character because she's an artist as well. But I feel like that's, I don't know, she gets steamrolled by her religious views, and then she kind of like almost takes over because they form like a student council, and she's like the head of it, where they kind of like enforce rules, but then make their own rules for themselves. So I really don't like her. Yeah, so I can go on and on, but one of my least favorite characters of all time, based on just them versus like the character design, all that. Cause she has a fine design and talent's fine, but I just think her character being like really religious in a sense is just so off-putting to me. Especially kind of almost at times feel hypocritical. Okay, and then next we have Tinku. Tenko, I'm saying that right, Tenko. I'm gonna give her a C. She's a fun character, interesting, but she's so much of a man hater that it comes very one-notey, like, you man and all that. But it's kind of funny trivia about her is that her sensei, it was a fatherly figure, kind of like discouraged her from dating boys by saying that they'll suck her energy or make her weaker or stuff like that. As you develop this complex of hating all guys, all boys. And I feel like it's a little more notey. I feel like she was coming around before her demise in the game. I think because that she comes a little more notey. Not the worst, but definitely far from the best. So I'll rank her as a C. So we got Kibo. I think his official name is K1B0 or K1BO. I'm not sure. It's been a while since I played the game, but I wouldn't say S. He's the ultimate robot. He's a very fun character. I really like what happens in later on in the game with him. He's really cool. You get this really cool moment I don't want to spoil with him. I feel like sometimes he can be a pushover or like the punching bag of the game. Like they use him to break a glass window, almost insult him like half the time. He kind of makes his comments like, oh, that's robophobic and all that. So I think sometimes you can get on that one-note path. Overall, a favorite character. I really like what they do with him throughout the game. Next we have Kaito. A fun, strong character in the third game, but I'm going to give him a B. And I feel like he's a little lacking, although not the worst. I feel like I get a little annoying that he calls the protagonist like this sidekick, and he's not really doing too much. He definitely has like strong values and pride and all that. I don't know, so I was able to say he's a B. I got Rentaro. I'm going to give Rentaro also a B. He's a very interesting character. A little more spoilers with the game. He's the first one to go. But he pops up later in near the end of the game and find out more and how it affects the story and the world and all that. So I really like how they use the character even post his death. But maybe because we don't see enough of him is why I don't rank him higher. But definitely a good solid character. Then we got Ryoma. This is going to be a different unexpected one, but he's S for me. I really love the character. I said with the other ones like Hifumi and Teru is I really don't like when they change the design like really drastically, make them out of place. Like he's very short, childlike, almost cute. But he has a really deep voice, and I don't know, I think it's like funny that he's kind of like more grown up sounding than the rest of the characters. Probably most characters in the students that they had in the past 3 games. I feel like it has a very tragic backstory. Maybe I'll talk more about it later in a future video. But I like to the point that he's like renounces his talent because he's ultimate tennis and you can't even tell by looking at him. But shit happen. I really like him. It's almost funny that he almost wants to sacrifice himself as the first kill, or the first victim. All that, but I really like him. I think just because the unexpected with his attitude, his voice, and all that. So he's a very, very fun character. So I really enjoy him a lot. We have Gonta. He's a nice character. It's kind of funny to have like a nerdy looking character being like tall and buff and strong. But I'm going to give him a C. Gets kind of one-notey, very gullible, and how he talks to himself in the third person. I think how he's like even manipulated a lot. I don't know. I feel like he's a little bit lacking. It's a fun character and has some fun moments in the game, but I'm going to rank him a C. Now we have Kokichi. S rank for me for sure. Definitely a shit stirrer and all that. His talent is as a supreme leader, but you find a lot about his truth about him because he's like a compulsive liar, and they make that obvious early on in the game. So it's like he's like constantly spouting lies, but then like maybe he's being truthful. It's a very fun character. I can go on and on about him as well. Yeah, so definitely S rank for me. Like he falls in line with like Nagito, even Bakya. Even like very different characters, but I feel like they like stirred the pot, all that. So really enjoy him. One of the favorites in the series, if not in the definitely in the game of Danganronpa V3. Next we have Suzumugi. Probably mispronouncing that, Sumugi. I'm gonna give her an A because the A group is kind of lonely as well. Something very interesting happens with her. I know she kind of fades into the background a lot too, but some interesting stuff happens with her. I don't want to spoil too much because I feel like the third game is like one you really don't want to get spoiled for you with a lot of the stuff that happens, but definitely an A. And Kori Kiko, how about saying that right? Pretty interesting character. He's kind of creepy as well with his appearance, and you find out that that's kind of justified. I'm going to put it as a B. Again, I don't want to like spoil too much. You kind of like more about his past and his motives and all that. So put him as a B. Then we got Kirumi. I wish we'd see more of this character again, getting a little spoilers and all that. But I really like how you find out like her motives and her background as well, because she's ultimate talent as a maid. I'm gonna give her an A. I really like the character. She like you kind of get sad that she's gone, and you find out like oh, all that. So I'm gonna put it as an A. Maki, I'm gonna say an A as well. I want the S tier, but the S tier is getting a little heavy as well. Because I like how you learn about her background, that she kind of lies about her ultimate talent. She really comes around and warms up to people as well. So I feel like she's one of the characters in the third game that has a lot more character development, and you're really rooting for her and all that. So I feel like she becomes a central part of the main story with the protagonist. I really like her a lot. Got Mui. I'm gonna say C. She's a fun character. She's like the Venter type, but I feel like she gets a little too foul-mouthed and a little too sexual at times, and then she can also be a little bit of a punching bag. So I don't know. She's kind of a hot mess. So it's kind of hard to bring her higher. I kind of want to, but I feel like C is appropriate for her. Then last, we're going to go over the Mono Cubs from Danganronpa V3. You may see the characters from Ultra Dispelled Girls down here. I'm not going to rank them because I never played the game, at least not yet. So for the Mono Cubs, I love Monodam is the robot one. So I like him a lot, so I'm going to say S. Mono Funny, I like it the least, so I'm going to say C. Mono Kid, I like his rock star like attitude, so I'm definitely gonna say S tier for him. Nosuke, I'm gonna give him a B. He's fine, but he can be a little bit of asshole, a little bit of prick. But I like Monotaro, kind of like the ninja kind of bear, and I like Red too, so I'm gonna give him an A. So there you go. I think that's a pretty decent tier list for Danganronpa. Now let me know in the comments below what you think. Again, I'm going to put a link to this exact tier list I used in the description below. Again, I might do more videos talking about my favorites and least favorite characters in more detail, and maybe even play Ultra Dispel Girls on stream, because I do game and stream it on Twitch. So check the links below. Again, the best way to support me and the channel is to like, comment, and subscribe. Yeah, that'll do it for this tier list video, and y'all take care and have a good rest of your day. Bye.